Hello, I'm Paul Pluta and welcome to the ArchieLuxury channel. And today I'm about to feature a clip from the fabulous Queensland Gold Coast. Now, before we run the clip, I do have to make a disclaimer. I am a Queenslander. I was born in Brisbane, Australia, and I just want to declare my hand that I may have unfairly really pushed the niceness of Queensland. So I just wanted to say, I just want to make the disclaimer before you see this video about the Gold Coast. Please realize I am a Queenslander and I'm very, very patriotic and proud of our fabulous Gold Coast. Okay, run the Queensland clip, fuckers! Hello, I'm Archibald Chesterfield III, affectionately known as the Pontiff, AC3. And today I'm filming a very, very sad story. And I'm down at the fabulous Gold Coast, the Goldie, the Gold Coast. Queensland, Sunshine State's icon for tourists all over the world to see. And today on this video here, I want to show you how the Gold Coast has turned to sludge. It's a disaster. The Gold Coast is a cesspot of failure. And I want to show the viewers here how bad the rot has set in. And this is one of the saddest videos I'm going to make on the ArchieLuxury channel. And all I can say is it couldn't happen to a nicer bunch of cunts. That's right. So I'm going to begin this this video with a look at one of the latest closures. One of the latest. Look, we got hoons everywhere. Hoons, yeah. You scare away all the luxury tourists. Scare away all the luxury high-enders, would you, with your stupid motorbikes? It's a disaster. So let's run the credits and let's have a look at how bad it's gone. Okay, fuckers, here we are. This is the Gold Coast, and this is the iconic Louis Vuitton store. This here. Yep, we got all these low-rent fuckers on motorbikes. Yep. You keep scaring the luxury punters away, would you? And here we have, this is Louis Vuitton. This was the flagship of luxury on the Gold Coast. This was a wonderful store. And what's happened now? What's happened now to the wonderful Louis Vuitton store? It's for rent. That's right. Misery has many friends at the Gold Coast. And Louis Vuitton itself, they've packed up. They've hitched their luggage and they've moved out of town. It's an absolute disgrace what's happened to the Gold Coast. A cesspot of failure. It's all terrible. It's bad, it's nasty. The Gold Coast. It's the Gold Coast has gotten very, very bad. And it's very sad to see this. This was the flagship for Louis Vuitton in Queensland, the Louis Vuitton store. It's gone. They've gone. It's all boarded up. It's all closed up. And what a cesspot of disaster. That's all I can say. This was the very sad here. The for lease signs on the windows tell a very sad tale. This is the decline of the Gold Coast. The Gold Coast has become a cesspot of failure and misery. And it's just sad. It's really, really sad. And I don't know what to say there. Right next door to Louis Vuitton, we've got another store has folded. This used to be the Hourglass. That's right, the Hourglass. And very foolishly, the store Monards. Monards is a very prestigious name in luxury watches in Sydney. They very foolishly signed a lease here. But Monards, there is no more luxury neighbours. You're a sole operator here. It's another case of the Gold Coast swindling a Sydney sider. That's correct. And it's very sad to see that what's gone on here at the Gold Coast. The Gold Coast has really fallen into bad times. And this is where Hourglass was and Monards is supposedly moving into. I don't know whether they will move in. Okay, let's continue this cesspot of failure that is the Gold Coast. And right across the road from Louis Vuitton, the Hourglass, this was the Moroccan Centre. We had fantastic names here. Let's have a look at what has happened to the Moroccan Centre. We had Gucci, the Italian fashion label. What's happened to Gucci? What has happened to Gucci? Let's go and take a look. Well, it's pretty obvious what's happened. They've moved out. Gucci's gone. And what's happened to the shop next door? That was Salvador. You know, that expensive Italian shoemaker for women? Yep. They've moved on. The cesspot of failure that is the modern Gold Coast has become a cancerous sore that is kicking out these high-end tenants from the Gold Coast. It's a disaster, an absolute disaster that the Gold Coast is these days. And let's have a look right next to these prestige babies here. We've got a discount acrylic nail shop. I mean, I don't want to be rude here, but this was a luxury mecca for high-end clients of stance and substance. We've got a discount acrylic nail store next door. Can it get any worse? That's the question I pose to you viewers there. It's very sad. It's the collapse of the Gold Coast. The Moroccan Centre was very famous for Cartier, the high-end French retailer. The high-end, another hoon, yeah, you scare your luxury punters away. This is the Cartier store at the Gold Coast. What's gone wrong? It's a disaster. The Gold Coast is an economic failure. It's a cesspot of misery and suffering. And Cartier has moved out. That's right. Cartier has moved out in a cesspot of disaster that is the modern day Gold Coast. Cartier has closed its doors. Now, one thing that has really surprised me is in the Moroccan Centre, I was talking to the manager of Cartier before the store closed, and he told me Hermes, pronounced with a silent H, actually owns the freehold of their shop. Guess what? Hermes has closed its doors on the Gold Coast. This is an absolute disaster. Hermes, what happened to Hermes? They've closed the doors. This cesspot of failure, it's like a cancerous sore that is just eating its way through luxury tenants. It's very sad. It's very grim. Hermes, they own the freehold and they've closed the doors. Oh my God, the Gold Coast. It's, I don't know what to say. Let's move next door to Hermes and we've got Prada, that luxury Italian brand name. Well, we had Prada. It's now for lease. What happened? What happened to Prada? It's, they've decided to close their doors. It's become a self-fulfilling prophecy. The Gold Coast has become an economic disaster zone. The luxury high-end tenant is no longer here to be found. And let's just take a look at the class of tenants. Right next to Louis Vuitton, Cartier, we've got Quackerduck. That's right, Quackerduck. And I don't want to be rude, but Quackerduck isn't really the high-end luxury tenants that we need on the Gold Coast. Quackerduck Low-end tourists. It's gone bad. The whole disaster. Low-end. This is the disaster that has become the Gold Coast. Quackerduck is next to high-end brand names. I don't want to be a pretentious snob, but when you're in the luxury trade, you don't want tenants called Quackerduck next door to you. It doesn't really go with that chic French image. The Gold Coast, a cesspot of misery and failure. And let's continue this tour of misery. Right next door to the Moroccan Centre, across the road from Vuitton and Hourglass, we have the Piazza on Broadway. The Piazza on Broadway. Let's go into this shopping mall and have a look how many shops remain. This is the biggest disaster on the Gold Coast. It's let's just keep going in. There've been many attempts to reignite this, but let's just go in here and have a look. This is right in the middle of the Gold Coast, and this is the Piazza Centre. This is very expensive real estate. This is I'm sure they could work out a leasing option for you. And let's have a look here. The Piazza Centre. I don't see any businesses here. I don't see any tenants. I don't see anything except misery, retail misery. That's all I see. The Piazza Centre. It's an absolute disaster zone on the Gold Coast. And the Indian restaurants closed. This has become a self-fulfilling prophecy of misery and doom. The Gold Coast. What the hell's going on here? This is prime real estate. Prime retail opportunities exist, and there's not a tenant in sight. All I see is a rundown, manky, dirty shell. That's all I see on the Gold Coast. A manky, dirty shell. This is very, very sad to see. The luxury component. This was the luxury mecca on the Gold Coast. It's a disaster. An absolute disaster. And I don't see it getting any better. ArchieLuxury reporting from the Gold Coast. It's an absolute economic disaster zone. Tenant after tenant of luxury stores have closed their doors. And it all started off so nicely. This was a city of dreams. The Cartier store at the Gold Coast, the cesspot of modern day luxury, is no more. They closed their doors. It's really, really sad to see. And I don't know what to say, fuckers. It's just really, really sad. The Gold Coast itself has imploded on itself. Very, very sad indeed. It's extremely sad. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know what to say. It's really, really sad. And all I can say is it couldn't happen to a nicer bunch of cunts. That's right. They deserve it. These pretentious fuckers. They've got everything they deserve as far as I'm concerned. Yes, it's very sad. The Gold Coast. It's a city of misery. Hermes, they own the freehold space, I'm told by real estate analysts. They've decided to close their doors. They don't have any rent to pay. Instead of putting a girl and a few bags here, they've decided to close their doors. It's very sad. This is the modern day Gold Coast. It's become a low-end tourist destination. Prada. I've never been a huge fan. I never thought Prada was really good enough for myself. And when you see this sort of stuff has happened, it's a disaster. It's a disaster. Prada itself has closed their doors because the Gold Coast is a cesspot of misery. And it's very sad to say this, but the Gold Coast is becoming a holiday destination for budget travelers from around the world. These are people who in better times couldn't afford to come here. But it's become a cesspot for failure. The modern day Gold Coast is just a disaster. And it's very sad to see. Very sad indeed. The Gold Coast is an absolute disaster for luxury brands. I'm standing out the front of the Gold Coast Gucci store, and I've never seen it this bad before in my life. It's very, very sad indeed. The Gold Coast has become a cesspot for economic failure and misery. I don't want to be rude, I don't want to be pretentious, I don't want to be called a snob, but when you run a luxury brand name business, you don't need hoons on motorbikes or discount acrylic nail shops as tenants. See, when you're in the luxury game, you're trying to create a feeling of ambience and superiority. See, you can't really have high-end retail next to discount acrylic nails. It's a bad look. It's a bad look, and it doesn't work. And I gotta tell you the truth. This is the disaster that has become the modern day Gold Coast. And it's sad. I'm just walking out the front of what was once the Louis Vuitton store, and I see leasing deal signs and opportunities, and well, I don't see terribly many luxury tenants here. The Gold Coast, it's become a cesspot of misery and suffering. It's become a retail luxury nightmare, and all I can say is, what a disaster is the Gold Coast. It had to happen. The bubble had to burst. It couldn't keep going. It wasn't going to go forever. It was going to end. And it's very sad to see. The Gold Coast is a former shell of its former glory. It's very sad indeed. But this is the cesspot of misery that is the modern day Gold Coast. Iconic surface paradise opportunity. Yeah, I like the wording the real estate agents used to sell a dead dog. That's right. It's very, very sad indeed. I'm ArchieLuxury reporting from the fabulous Gold Coast. Please tell me what you think. If I've been unkind with my words, tell me what you think. And there's our quackerduck bus. Our quackerduck. A quack, 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 quack. Our quackerduck. Our quackerduck comes in. And there's our cheap, nasty scooters to scare away any remnants of luxury that remain. Yes, there's a statue. Sir Bruce Small. Yes, he was a politician who developed the Gold Coast, and his political saying was, "Think big, vote small." And yes, Sir Bruce Small, I salute you. May the dream continue. May high-end tourists once again walk the streets with platinum Amexes and foreign currency. Sir Bruce Small, reporting live from the Gold Coast. The misery that is the Gold Coast. Look at this restaurant here, China House. Guess what? 25 years in business. Now squatters have moved in. Squatters have moved in. That's correct. Squatters have moved in. Whew! Archie, that is a very savage report. I mean, Jesus Christ! It's a disaster. It's an absolute disaster. I don't know any good things that can come of this, Archie. It's very, very savage indeed. I don't know what to say, Archibald, but what can we say there, Archie? What the hell's wrong with our lens? We've got some stuff on our lens. It's a disaster. The Gold Coast fuckers. Tell your friends. Tell your relatives. It's a fucking disaster. If you like this video, remember to like, subscribe, and tell your friends. And also, if you are from the Gold Coast, my sincere apologies, fuckers. Nasty Gold Coast fuckers.